For today's Tech Tip Tuesday, I'm going to talk about one of my absolute favorite tools in working with getting students to read or adapting text to their level, and that tool is DiffIt. So DiffIt is a generative AI tool that will either create a reading on literally anything, create an activity from a YouTube video or existing text or PDF. It does so many different things. So I'm going to showcase two things that I like to use DiffIt for. The first one is the textbook we use for our seventh grade geography class is actually a version of a ninth grade world geography textbook. And a lot of our students don't read at that level, or we have several students who are well below reading at a seventh grade level. So the first thing I'm going to do is hop over to the TCI textbook page. So you can see I've got things here. I can select a reading level in this TCI text, but it doesn't simplify it down, again, close enough to the anticipated reading level of our students. So I am literally going to take this whole section of reading and copy and paste it. So I'm going to copy it and then hop back over here into DiffIt, paste it and see if we're over 40,000 words. I don't think we are. And then I think this extra business at the top is the honeybees picture. So I'm going to put this in here and go, okay, what do I want to do? Let's say that I want to adapt it to a fifth grade reading level, right? That I want to get an activity that might hit some of our students who are, two grade levels below. I've got it copied and pasted here, and I'm going to click Generate Resources. Oh, so I can either preserve the original text and generate some activities with this text. I don't want to do that. I'm going to turn off Preserve the Original Text, and what it's going to do is now readapt the reading to a fifth grade reading level. So there might be some of the terminology that gets used in geography, right? Some of those big key vocabulary words might not be changed. So it's going to think about it and go, okay, it'll always try and grab some kind of picture. And then I'm going to look at the adapted reading passage. And the hashtags are going to be the headers of the different sections, right? So for the purposes of this video, I'm not going to sit here and double check it, but the one thing I would absolutely do is have this open in one window, have the TCI text open in a second, and check, for fidelity to the original source. Is it giving kids the same information at a more accessible level than what my textbook is doing, right? You're not going to want to watch me read at all. So we'll pretend that I did that. And let's say that I want to turn this into some kind of activity. There are 3 templates that it shows here. And let's say that I want to go get student activities. It's going to give me things that I've recently used, or if I want to look for some reading strategies, I can have it be a close reading. I can make it a 5W assignment. I can have students draw and explain, take Cornell notes, right? I can make it work however I want to. The strategy that I've been working with a lot in terms of, helping students feel like they're growing more is playing with, some summary strategies or some elements of 3-2-1. So we'll go back to the templates that I've used frequently or favorited. And I'm going to take this 3-2-1 summary. And what it's going to do is go, you sure you want this? Key vocabulary, 3 things I learned, 2 pictures, 1 question. That's what I want. And then we take this information and then we use it to create a summary on like a Google Classroom comment or something like that as an exit ticket. So I'm going to take this and export the activity, and it's going to create it in whatever file format I want to. I should have signed in before. So it's going to generate it now. It's going to take everything from that text section and now plug it into this format for the students to work with. Now that it's done, I can open it in Google Slides. I can directly share it to Classroom. I can have a PDF or a PowerPoint version of the file. So the first thing I'm going to do is open it in Google Slides so I can adapt it to how I want to. This is going to give you a short breakdown of how you should use it in the lesson, and then it says, hey, delete this before you share it with the kids. So you'll notice it took that image from the header and it gives a notice and wonder activity, right? So something to get their brains up and running. Then it gives the summary page, and then this reading and notes is, several pages long, but then you'll see it generates a handful of different types of discussion questions. So I can definitely take this and create it for different groups. I can definitely take this and, delete stuff from it. So I can go through and change the order. I can manipulate this however I want to. If I want to go back and go, ooh, maybe I need to change this, I can go back and look at my resources and come back in here and make some changes. So let's say I have some students that need this translated to Spanish, or if I want to take this passage and shorten it even more, I can go through and add different vocabulary words that I want to focus on. So if this does not necessarily line up with the key vocab from the TCI text, then I can go back and put these things in for emphasis. So in a matter of 30 seconds, it differentiates this for reading at a different level. And I can give this to everybody. I can give the accommodations to the kids who need it, or I can continue to take this one item and adapt it here, there, and everywhere. And you'll see that everything that I've created recently is saved here in my resources. Let's say that we did this and we did our reading on environmental geography, and I go, okay, my students did not do well on the questions dealing with human relationships with natural systems. And I go, let's try a different reading. So I can go to this literally anything and go human environment interactions. And now I can, again, do the reading level language. And now I can go, does this need to be an informational text or a fictional text? So depending on the reading skill set you want your students to learn or use, that type of reading will matter. But for me, informational. So again, generating resources. Again, it gives me different images. I can upload an image I want to for maybe a See, Think, Wonder kind of activity at the top, but here it gives me a short adapted reading passage. So I can look at it and go, do we want this to be a little bit longer? Maybe. So let's change this to medium adaptation or medium length, and it will now go through and adjust it. Unlike other generative AI sources, I can have this show me its sources and I can go back check things, which is beautiful and different from any other like large language model, that it won't cite its sources or it will hallucinate and make up its own. But again, I can go through and back check all of these things for accuracy, which anytime I create something to give to students, I do that first. Purposes of the video, I'm not going to do it. So let's say I want to take this and go, okay, let's see if we can think about the text a little bit deeper. So I can now pick any of these things and let's see if we can do this with making inferences. Again, it gives me a template. It gives me the different pieces I can look at here on the left side, and I can export the activity into anything that I want. So these are resources that are quick and easy to share on whatever, learning management system you use. It is super quick and easy to edit. But for my students who are reading at all kinds of different levels, as I get better at trying to accommodate better with the reading, I have, done trial and error with kids where I had a student who is struggling in my world history class with some of the reading. So I took a passage and adapted it. And I went one grade level at a time and went, okay, Does this feel better? Does this feel better? Does this feel better? Oh, this was too easy. You want to go back here? And I can yo-yo to kind of zero in on where the student is at to help get them to where they need to be. So that's why I love DiffIt. You should definitely check it out. And if you've got any questions, let me know. I'll see y'all next Tuesday.